Hey folks, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Describe the Kill. This is a podcast about Dungeons & Dragons and other games, all kinds of cool stuff. I'm E. James, and I'm here with Chris.
I'm Chris. I'm the Dungeon Master for Describe the Kill.
And he's doing a great job, as you'll hear in this upcoming podcast. One of the things that's always difficult for some players to do is get started in a D&D campaign. And it seems like a lot of people spend a lot of time on character creation and things like that. As a DM, how do you help your characters get invested in the game and build good characters that make sense for the campaign?
Well, for Describe the Kill, we did something a little bit different. As you know, James, we wanted to, instead of having these guys go back to their houses and spending a week on their characters, which is normally the case for one of our normal running campaigns, new campaign, I wanted to throw the guys for a loop. And so I did a completely random generated character creation system this time. But to help them, to give them a little push in the right direction, is because they had so little time. Literally, they only had like 2 hours to make a character for this. I gave them a randomly generated role-playing element that they had to incorporate into their character. And the great thing is, by doing that, all the guys and girls, for that matter, rolled random characters, random classes, and then a random race, and then a random role-playing trait. And it was great. It made some of my characters. It made some of my players kind of push outside the box a little bit and play something that they normally wouldn't play. Right. So we see people like Deanna, who is normally the support class. She's more of the striker. She's going in as a barbarian.
Right.
Her first time, she's doing a great job. We have people like you, who's not used to being on the front lines, as like and what you're doing, but everyone got a little push. You'll see E is a druid. Normally he's either a rogue or something a little more finesse like that. So, and then my son, Christian, he took a big leap. He's always a caster. He's always played either a sorcerer or a wizard. And this time he's the paladin, which is not only puts him in the role of the tank class, but he's also a leadership role. And we'll see how he takes that on in upcoming episodes.
So for new DMs who may be listening to our podcast, or people who want to get into dungeon mastering themselves, what do you think is the most important thing that a DM can do for his players to help get them started in the right direction with their characters?
Well, first of all, you got to understand that Dungeons & Dragons is not the dungeon master versus the players. The Dungeon Master is only there to tell the story, to narrate the player's story that they're creating, and to give them obstacles to enhance their play and to overcome and to allow them to dive into their characters more.
So for some of those fledgling DMs, or even people who've DM'd for a long time, what do you think is the most important thing a DM can do to kind of help set the characters up for success? And what do you think the DM's role is as part of character creation?
Well, I think the number one thing to remember for a Dungeon Master is that Dungeons & Dragons is not the Dungeon Master versus the players. We're not trying to kill them. We're not trying to anger them or frustrate them. We're trying to tell a story, to narrate, and to put obstacles in the player's way that they can use to get deeper into their characters and have fun. And for me, that's where my fun comes from, to see that I've created this world, this ongoing scenario that they interact with, and I get to have fun to see how they interact with it.
So I'm sure some of you listening at home have had those games who've been playing D&D for a while, so maybe you found a Dungeon Master you just didn't click with, or the Dungeon Master's whole goal was TPK, I want to get the total party kill, I want to wipe out characters, or even worse, you've got the DM that holds grudges against characters for not following their story. What would you say to DMs as a way to check themselves, to keep them from doing that and ultimately ruining the game for their players?
Well, it's pretty simple. Are your players having fun? I mean, that's what this is about. Dungeons & Dragons is a game. We're all there to have fun, to get into characters, to kind of leave our normal everyday lives to the side for just a while and dive into something else. And if everyone's not having fun, then they're not doing it right. In fact, that's kind of one of my mottos here around Mythic Realm is if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So.
Right. All right, guys, thanks for listening. And you gals and guys at home, we're going to be doing these, like I said, once or twice a week. We'll be releasing. We've got a really good and fascinating game going, so enjoy this upcoming session. And if you like us, visit our website, describethekill.com. Go ahead and go there, check it out. And we'll see you in the where are we?
We'll see you next time.
Where are we?
We are in Velenar, which
okay.
we'll talk about next time as far as the campaign setting goes, okay? So we'll see you next time on Describe the Kill.
Hey, take care, all of you. This is E. James.
I'm Chris.
We'll see you at Mythic Realms.
Later on.
So this is our first foray, right? This is Huzzah! The Mythic Realm, I guess, Mythic Realm podcast, numero uno, right? So I am Chris, the Dungeon Master, and which sometimes you'll see her call me Z, in case you're confused. But anyways, Chris. This is my son Christian.
Hello.
This is my girlfriend Deanna. That's Colin. You might hear him get called Poof. That is our friend Ephraim over there.
Hello.
You might hear him get called E most of the time. And this is, who's this guy? Oh yeah, this is James.
James.
We can thank James for this wonderful setup. You guys can't all see it, but this fantastic setup. I think we are ready to interview the Queen of England here.
Absolutely.
This setup here.
Bring her on.
Anyways, this is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. This will be a semi-homebrew, semi-known campaign. As far as the campaign setting, the campaign actually starts in the Forgotten Realms, but it may not stay there.
This campaign brought to you by Scotch.
There you go. Oh, that's a good. Thank you for reminding me. We should let you know that parental guidance is suggested, recommended. Okay, even though some of us are young, then there will be some language here. But for the most part, we'll keep it
apparently from him.
Pretty fun. Yeah, from our youngest, right? Semi-youngest.
He's younger than me.
Oh, that's true.
They learn all the good swear words.
So, some housekeeping real quick. So I'm the Dungeon Master. I've been Dungeon Mastering since the inception of D&D, I believe. At least since the first red box that I ever got when I was like, I don't know.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Even before that,
Cardboard box. That's where I started.
I played the white box, yeah. White and then red. I didn't play so much the white box, but I read it and I played in the red box. So I still have some of the dice from the red box, the original dice. So I've been doing that and playing. I'm not going to play as much because these people won't Dungeon Master, but that's fine. I love doing it. I love telling stories. It's great. And we're going to tell one here, hopefully. But some rules real quick. Before anyone who hears this posts on any kind of website we have going, you might get upset because we get some of the rules wrong, especially myself. And we try to get those as quickly as possible. I don't know all the rules. But if I get them wrong, my awesome players here will tell me if they know, or we'll look it up later, or I'll just make it up as I go, which is great. That's what I like to do anyways. They all know that my word is final, but that doesn't mean they can't question me. And we're going to go around the table real quick, introduce each of the characters who will be playing. Why don't we start with the shyest of the group, Deanna. Why don't you go ahead and introduce your character, give us a brief description. And we don't need a backstory yet, just the description so far.
All right. Well, I'm playing a human barbarian named Chris Kane Ghostpaw. She's 24. She's 6'2" in height. She wears leathers with a wolf pelt across her shoulders that is like gray, black, and white. She carries daggers, hand axes, a whip, a battle axe on her waist, with a claymore strapped to her back.
Excellent. All right, Colin.
All right. So to the rest of the group, this character is known only as Nyx. He is a halfling sorcerer. The best way to describe him personality-wise is he is pretty much a walking contradiction. Ordinarily, halflings are very cheerful, very joking kind of people. He is not. He really isn't. The way he interacts with people often comes across as cruel and really mean-hearted, and yet everything he seems to do with good intentions. He carries with him a quarterstaff meant for defending himself, and his arcane focus is a pair of fingerless leather gloves he wears on both hands. He carries a second staff with him that basically looks like a piece of polished driftwood, but he doesn't really talk about what it is or what it does. It just kind of seems like a trinket that he carries with him.
Excellent. Ephraim.
All right. I'm playing Aaron Bramblewarden. He's a town folk in the area. Call him a feral druid. But he's actually a druid of the Circle of the Moon. So he's a shapeshifter, predominantly. He is the warden of Bramblewood, a thick forest in the area. He is being basically feral. He's in his human form, pretty dirty, unkempt, full, thick black beard, heavy black hair that's braided into a thick braid that runs down to midway of his back. Heavy leather vest and breeches and boots serve as his armor. He has a dirty, stained cloak, which is relatively, actually it looks like it's held up pretty well under the weather. He's about 28. He speaks very little. He has ways, though, of letting himself be known. We'll see how that goes. And that's, I think, about it.
Excellent. James?
Elazar Underhill Baggins at your service. No relation, by the way. But a little about myself. I am the mightiest fighter that the world has ever seen, and I will prove my might with my trusty sword and my quick attacks. High dexterity fighter. Anyway, we will show the color of our steel as many times as we possibly can throughout this campaign. And anyone who takes a halfling as not being serious will learn at the tip of my sword to take halflings seriously.
Oh, we're gonna get along perfectly.
Excellent. Christian?
I play Durik Redbeard, a dwarven paladin of Helm. Durik Redbeard is a loud, huge for a dwarf, outspoken character. He stands at about 4'10", and he's extremely wide. He's got the dwarven beer belly going on, but his arms are like that of Legend. He's able to lift things nobody even larger than him should be able to lift, priding himself for being stronger than anyone you could possibly come across in just common cities or anything. He's one of the strongest, toughest characters that anyone here has ever met, and he's known for speaking of himself like that.
My God, you're a stout one, aren't you?
Being a dwarf, he's difficult to push around, and he stands for what he believes in, which is in Helm, as he's a paladin. But back to his appearance. He's about as dwarven as it can get, and true to his name, he does have a red beard. His ginger beard comes down almost to his knees. It's braided on the two sides, but left thick in the middle. At the bottom of the beard is a gold ring that ties the end together. In the center of the beard is a brace embroidered with the symbol of Helm on it, made of gold. His red hair carries onto the back of his head, but the top of his head is left bald, where he has tattooed another symbol of Helm. Covering his face are small battle scars surrounding his huge bushy red eyebrows atop his deep-set blue eyes. His nose is large, even for that of a dwarf, and his ears are kinda small. He wears armor nearly as big as himself. His shoulder pads are massive, polished steel dwarven shoulder pads, again decorated with Helm's holy symbol. He has plate on his chest and on his forearms, but covering the rest of his arms and down his stomach is all chainmail, all finely crafted dwarven chainmail. His hands and his feet are covered in more plating, and he wields a fine crafted dwarven round shield, again embroidered with Helm's holy symbol, and a...
What's this called again?
Built like a brick outhouse, this one. Same coloring and about as flexible.
And even more prominent than his shield is his masterfully crafted warhammer, which he claims is magic, though no one has checked as of yet. So, yeah.
Which is master-crafted as it is?
I have a question. Does your beard provide +1 armor class to piercing strikes against your chest?
As it would.
Yes. All right, so our players
It
are...
also serves as handholds for buggering him from behind.
Our players, their characters are starting at level 5, and this campaign is going to be kind of kicked off by a one-shot we did at our local shop, which is Mythic Games. And we're going to go ahead and take it from there. So I get to use my words that I love to say so much, which is last time on Dungeons and Dragons, our party found themselves in the midst of northern Toril, between Sundabar and Citadel Adbar, as for little more than a year now, the lands, this valley, Great Valley, has been attacked, besieged, if you will, by a massive army of orcs and hill giants. Normally, it's not uncommon for them to help each other in small bits here and there, but to see an army of this size and this much cooperation between the two races and lethalness actually in their cooperation is pretty much unseen, at least for maybe 100 years or more. But something has put these two forces together, and they have laid siege on the lands to the north here. And because of that, the peoples of Sundabar and the surrounding areas, and the good dwarves of Citadel Adbar and their surrounding areas, have mustered their forces for the last year, as I said, and have put a great effort to stop these orcs in their tracks. However, in the last few months, they have been losing some footing here. So in order to counteract that, the leaders of the dwarves and the humans have decided to take their best men that they can find, whether they are part of the army or not, the best men in the realms, in these northern realms, that they can find, and create small groups of shock troops. And they would then use their wizards to transport these shock troops into the midst of the enemy, behind the enemy lines, if you will, and to look for targets of opportunity, to try to see if they can cut the head off the serpent. So, in our last episode, we did just that. We had a larger contingent of folks here, and they were transported into a barren, war-torn wasteland that used to be this lovely valley. Once they appeared within these horrible, this horrible war-torn area, they were met with the just horrific scene of thousands of dead bodies piled together. Flies by the millions have taken over. The land itself is burnt and torn, and they had just horrible things like people putting duct tape over their cans.
No product placement on this podcast.
That's right. No, but it's just a horrible scene. Where there was ground, most of the ground was stained by the blood of the fallen, from both sides. So it's been just a horrific battle. Our players, though, were transported in, and when they were at the bottom of a large hill, and atop this hill was the remainder of a contingent of brave dwarves who were fighting something off at the top of the hill. So our party rushed up the hill to figure out what was happening and to support these dwarves. But before they could get there, the dwarves to a man were cut down, and then they saw what it was that was taking them as a horde of skeletons overtook the mound. And a great battle ensued between the players and the skeletons. But thanks to the lead of our paladin, who had a mighty turn undead and sent most of the skeletons skittering about, and then the follow-up of magical arcane energies blasting them away, the rest of the party was able to gather up and rout in the rest of the skeletons, including a skeletal giant, hill giant, which they took. But that was not it. They saw what was creating these undead, as there was a cart led by what apparently was a necromancer, and this necromancer was being pulled by zombies from the cart, and he had a contingent of ghouls and a ghost even that was helping him. But thankfully, the brave heroes were able to dispatch him after a horrific battle, and that's where we left off. So to speed things up a little bit, because you guys had just dispatched this large group, and because it looks like there's some scattered undead still about, and the awesome, I love it. What? So in order to dispatch these, some of you guys were, as if you remember, I told you that at the bottom of this large hill, it looked to be that there was some sort of tunnel entrance at the bottom of this hill that had just wreckage all about of wagons and siege engines. So half of the party decided they're going to investigate this tunnel, and the other half decided they're going to run after the remaining undead and dispatch them. And so we will say your party is the ones that decided to stay and investigate this tunnel that seems to go directly into the earth itself. So you find yourselves on this war-torn battlefield. One sec. And you see this dark tunnel before you leading into the earth. From the tunnel is a gray kind of mist filling out and a rank smell. But then again, you can't tell if it's the smell from the tunnel or just the dead of the battlefield itself. So, any question before we begin? Yes.
So during the last fight, there were at least 3 dwarves on the other side of where our heretical dwarf blasted the other ones, that had been unchecked, and we assumed they were alive. Did we ever go back and save them? Because that was the job.
You did not go back because you got, quickly after that, you were attacked by the necromancer. So if you'd like to run back up the hill and check on them.
Area.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yes,
Okay.
I am definitely running up the hill as fast as my dwarf legs can carry me to those.
All right, Durek is running up the hill to go check on his brethren. And what are the rest of you doing?
I don't remember ever coming down the hill. Did we?
Yeah, because the necromancer was
Oh,
at
that's
the bottom
right.
of the hill.
That's right.
So I'm still in bear form.
Okay. Our druid is a great grizzly bear.
Move forward.
Okay.
Pensively poke the body of the necromancer that got fried in the head with the last lightning bolt.
Yeah. In fact, you go and see him. First of all, when you poke him, he kind of rolls over in that dark cloak he's wearing, and you're finally able to see his face. And when you do, you see that his skin is sunk in and looks dry and cracked as if parchment, barely clinging to the skull underneath. His skin on his hands is much the same, and you also see that one of his eyes is missing, burnt out completely. You see a scorch mark atop his head from apparently where the lightning bolt of yours struck him dead, the final blow. And much the same with his clothes. It's tattered, destroyed. He doesn't have the pike that he was carrying earlier and leading the wagon. That's over by the wagon. which is still on fire, by the way. That's burnt to a crisp. The zombies that were pulling it are still writhing, but they're all toast, and the ghouls are all destroyed as well.
Take a good sniff of the corpse and commit it to memory.
Okay. Get a good whiff of... So you breathe in and you take in just a horrific smell. It smells like this wretched creature is rotting as much as he was living. So just a horrific... Something you won't forget, probably.
It's never right to leave your friends crispy, especially when it was so-called friendly fire. So I'll head up the hill to check on
the other dwarves that
absolutely
got caught in a fireball.
Fault.
To give you, because our friend Colin here wasn't actually in that session, the dwarves are struck down, but that doesn't mean they were dead. However, after the paladin turned the undead, the other dwarf in the party, who was a sorcerer himself, decided to follow suit with a large fireball, which was great in taking out all the remaining skeletons who were fleeing, but that also enveloped the dwarves that were there.
What a genius!
Friendly fire isn't.
So, you get to the top of the hill, Durek, and you see 3 dwarves, mighty dwarves, and when you roll them over, first of all, your eyes just see a horrible sight, especially in your minds as you're a dwarf yourself. But these dwarves, almost miraculously, must have been standing their ground. They have so many wounds. Their shields are basically splinters. Their swords and axes are nicked to pieces, and their armor is barely hanging on them. And it's as if they used their last breaths to hold those skeleton at bay until you got there. And you see much the same, Nix, when you get up there, except that they're also burnt.
Yep.
But you can see right away, regardless of the fire, it looks like these dwarves would have succumbed to the wounds.
Smells like a cooking stuff here.
You hear him from the other side drop into prayer, because the other group of dwarves he was so hopeful to save, he couldn't save the last one because a certain other dwarf was a heretic. You hear him go into prayer for these ones too, because he was hopeful that at least he could save a couple, but that apparently did not happen.
I think I'll search for order pouches and see if there's anything relating to their original mission on them.
Yes, their lives were lost in vain. Can we cry and move on? We need to get going.
Not in vain, for we are still here.
There's a tunnel. We should check it
Christine,
out.
what are you doing?
Kind of seeing that, like watching them and seeing that the dwarves, are obviously dead. I'm gonna turn towards the cave and kind of start looking around to see if there's any visible traps or anything.
All right, and Aaron, what is your large grizzly form doing? After looking at the necromancer?
Pawing through maybe any leftover cloak or clothes, looking for any significant items.
Okay.
If I find nothing, I'm going to turn my attention towards the burning wagon and where I think that staff was that he had, that pike.
Okay. Well, you go through his... how are you doing this in bear form?
Claw.
You just kind of scrape it at him. Well, you do see that he has some belt pouches, but you're unable to manipulate them with your large, huge claws.
Rip them open.
Yeah. So you start pawing at his belt pouches, and when you do, you hear the cracking of glass, and you see something wet appear in the bottom of the pouch, leaking out.
Sniff, sniff.
It's a sweet-smelling fluid.
Reluctantly, I change into human form.
Okay.
Take a look down, a little closer look.
You look at it, and when you open up the pouch, you see that he had 2 vials of a red liquid. One of them now is broken, and wasted, but you still see that there's one. And by the smell of the one that's spilled, it's sweet. Your nose, you can tell it is a healing potion.
Unless they're irregular.
Oh, that was a waste.
It's a regular.
Oh.
You said there were a couple pouches
Yeah, so the other, you open that one up,
with my human fingers.
and you instantly know, just because it's not your type of casting, but you can tell it's a pouch of components.
Ah.
I think I'll get my hands on those.
Most of them are bones and like bat wings and
I don't need it.
spider webs. Pouch, so you just toss those?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
no use for it.
Other than that, you don't see anything else on him.
Do I know you?
Yes.
How well do I know him?
You do know he's been with your group. I mean, you guys.
Okay.
Keep in mind, you guys have known each other for one. I should have mentioned that before. Before you guys got transported here, you knew each other for a week, but you knew of each other. You knew that you were being collected because you're very skilled in what you do, and it took about a week to lay plans. So you know of each other. You've seen each other in the camp before actually gathering. But as far as like knowing each other independently, no. I mean, you guys.
Forget the group. He's been around the camp.
But you do know of him, yeah.
All right. So after I examined the body, I want to head towards the direction of where I saw him drop that pike last.
Okay. Yeah, you go over there. See, the pike is pretty burnt itself. I mean, that one of the lightning bolts used as a lightning rod, basically. But it doesn't look, other than the gore that's on it, which it looks like he's been prodding his zombies with, it doesn't look particularly of value.
Made.
No, in fact, it's poorly made.
Quick glance over of the wagon.
The wagon's burnt. The wheels blasted off. It was being pulled by zombies. It's still on fire. Other than that, the only thing that's in it is just a pile of corpses. Both orc and human and dwarf. It looks like this necromancer has been collecting these corpses and then animating them. And you don't even have to make an investigation roll. I mean, you can pretty much surmise that just by what they have. And it looks like he didn't bother picking up any weapons or anything, and it kind of makes sense as the zombies and stuff you've seen. Although the skeletons, there's no skeletons in it. The skeletons had weapons that you guys fought, and those seem to be different. But the ghouls did not use any weapons either, so.
Okay. So, quick look in the direction that they came from. Anything on the horizon?
Well, in the horizon, you
Time of
see.
day, by the way?
So, time of day, when you guys left, it was before dawn, and it still is right about that time. But I should have set the scene a little bit better as far as the scene, because if you remember, the whole sky is just clouded with haze. In the distance, you see that there's the streaks lighting up the skies. It looks like from siege weapons. There's fires burning in the distance. And once in a while you see explosions of different colors, probably from arcane sources. But it's pretty hazy and smoky. It smells burnt and acrid, and just the smell of death everywhere. As far as looking out on the horizon, your vision doesn't go that far. It's much the same. You see more of these hills. You see more destroyed, what looks to be maybe houses of some time or wagons, and you see bodies here and there from various battles, craters from blasts and stuff. It's just a horrible battlefield. But you don't see anything actually moving in the distance. Actually, that's not true. You look to the north and you see just kind of the silhouettes of your other teammates, still heading north. Looks like they're chasing something.
Dirk,
Trying to quickly head there.
you were
their way?
given more of our information on our orders than the rest of us. It was the dwarf brethren that we were sent to save. What's our next step?
I mean, we were sent in as shock troops, so if we can find more targets, which I guess was a secondary goal to saving the dwarves, I guess we can continue with that, unless you wanted to head back, if that's even possible.
Yeah, we could go somewhere like the cave.
Any reason you want to rush into a cave?
I will interject and remind primary target was actually targets of opportunity and anything that is aiding the enemy. That is, they're somehow being aided and kind of herded together. So anything that would do that. In fact, they didn't say they said there were dwarves in the area, but they didn't say they needed saving. That just happened to be where you guys.
Dirk took it as.
I'm just reminding him because he wasn't there, so he knows.
All right. There's a lot of crap around that cage, isn't there? Cave. It's worth investigating.
Sure, why not?
Well, Christine, you see, as you guys look over to it, you see the large barbarian woman. She is looking over this large. To say it's a cave is maybe not the best way to describe it, because as you're looking at it, you can definitely see that this is, well, I was going to say man-made, but it's something made. It doesn't look natural. It looks like something bore this hole in the ground. And what you do see automatically, it doesn't take keen eyes to recognize that there are wagon tracks that either led out of it or into it. And you see a lot of other footprints around it as well. So give me an investigation roll.
It's 14.
14. So just looking at this, you can tell by the amount of footprints and the size of this tunnel, it looks like that wagon could have made it through. It looks like this is being used as some sort of route for something.
Oh good, a dank-ass hole to nowhere. Right to the heart of the enemy. Shall we sally forth?
You guys look around, you see that the druid is nowhere to be seen until you look to the north and you see his... Are you in bear
I'm in
shape?
human form.
Okay.
I've already used.
You see him walking, running off.
Running off. Oh, I was coming up towards
Towards the other group, right?
this group.
Oh, this group. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant you were...
No,
Sure,
I'm
my bad.
hanging with
All
these
right.
guys
I
as
got
long
you.
as possible
I
in the
got you.
campaign.
All right. Well, I didn't know if you were going to go talk to him or...
But as I'm coming, I'm also keeping an eye out for any small animals I may see in the field. A rabbit, a bird, snake, whatever any animal that I might see.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Because they're tasty. Perception.
Yes.
17. 6 plus 7 is 13. That's 13.
Okay. You look around for a little bit, and you see, not too far from you, maybe 40 feet, something move under one of the broken, either siege engines or something. And at closer inspection, after waiting a few moments, you see a small gray squirrel that looks pissed. And when you see him move, maybe you can understand why. Is it looks like all of the fur on his tail has been scorched off. So he has almost a rat tail, if you will. And he's kind of skittering about. Looks like he's looking for something to eat or something like that. So.
All right.
Flesh of rotting corpses. Zombie
Out
squad.
of my pocket, I pull a morsel of food,
Okay.
and I slowly move towards him.
Okay.
And I'm casting animal friendship.
Ooh. Animal friendship.
Yeah, and he has a wisdom save.
Casting animal friendship before you inevitably betray him and eat him.
That's the easiest way to...
Squirrels too.
He's already halfway
Oh, wait a
cooked.
minute, wait. Let's
his
see.
name
Choose a
Foamy?
beast. Doesn't see within range. Must see or hear you. The beast's intelligence is 4 or higher. The spell fails. Otherwise, the beast succeeds in a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you.
So what's the wisdom against? What's the DC?
Hope you have a +2 to rabies.
Come on. DC is 15.
DC is 15. Okay. Well, he definitely failed.
Okay.
So, what does that mean for you?
So that means he's charmed for the next 24 hours.
Okay, you have a charmed angry squirrel.
Okay. I cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay.
whispering, as he takes the food out of my hand.
All right.
Lean down and I whisper into his ear. And Druidic, a spell of healing and calm.
Before you heal him, you can see he doesn't look hurt.
Oh.
It just looks like his fur is just burnt off his tail.
Okay.
Yeah. So closer inspection, once you're friendly with him, you can see it doesn't look like he's hurt.
Oh, good.
He's just upset about his tail.
All right.
Cry havoc and let slip the squirrels of war.
Doesn't look like he's going to be getting the ladies anytime soon with that tail of his.
Under the breach, my fine.
So now I'm going to cast Speak with Animals.
Ooh, okay.
And you're going to ask me, what does that do?
I'm assuming you're able to speak with animals and they're able to infer emotions and general...
Pretty much so. You gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts. Duration, knowledge, and awareness of many animals is limited to their intelligence, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day.
Okay.
You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor, blah, blah, blah.
What do you ask your charmed angry squirrel?
So, whispering in his ear, I asked him, so my little friend, I'm sorry for your injuries. What have you seen in the area here that has caused such a horrible scene here?
Lots of fire.
So,
and let's back up a few hours to before we showed up.
So, first of all, he doesn't have an understanding of what races are, So, but you get the impression that he's communicating that that the walking stinky things have been, coming out of the hole and attacking the dwarves. And there were many dwarves, but one of the wagons of stinky things went back into the hole with a group of dwarves chained behind it, walking behind it. So he tells you that they basically, you get the idea that they took prisoners and led them back through the hole.
Yeah.
Other than that, lots of stinky stuff and fire, and a burning piece of wood fell on his tail.
Looks like
that truly sucks.
Yeah, he's very upset about his tail. And he can't find any nuts or food, so he's eating stuff in his face, well, actually just stuffing it in his cheek, the morsel you gave him.
I'm okay with throwing the cure wounds on him. It'll grow his tail back out.
It will not grow his tail back out. It does not regenerate, just heals.
All right, good enough.
So,
well, I thank you for your information, my little friend. Here's a morsel to hold you through the day.
Takes that one and stuffs it in his other cheek.
Okay.
And skitters off.
And then he
way to go, Snow White.
Shall we sing a song?
Well, looks like it was right about the cave.
Shocking. You relayed that information, correct?
Well, he would have
So-
to tell us.
I'm coming up to the party. Thump, thump, thump on the ground with my staff. I point at the burning wagon. And I point at the cave.
Just going in the cave.
Does he not speak?
He doesn't like
Rarely.
The wagon
all right.
out of the cave.
Let's go.
The cave.
Okay, so you guys decide to go in the cave?
Sure, why not?
Give me a bit of a
Whoop-de-doo. Point at the paladin.
Yes.
Words! You know how to use them!
So for our audio friends, our druid is gesturing to the paladin to do something, and the paladin is unable to to understand what he's doing.
Is there more bodies laying around right here?
Oh yeah, most of them are. I mean, which bodies? You look the newest ones
In particular.
the ghouls.
Huh?
Ghouls.
Any dwarves?
Oh, dwarves? Not here. No, they're on the hill.
Okay.
They're-
I point towards the hill with the dwarves. And I point at the cave again.
Oh, I gotcha. Go on, cave.
There's dead dwarves in the cave. Not dead dwarves. Well, there you have it.
Now we're definitely going to the cave.
Yet again. I was right. Let's go.
So, give me a marching order if you guys are actually going in.
Dirk is going to attempt to go up front, but he's not very fast, so
He'll be tripping.
I'll follow directly behind.
Huh?
I'll step up front.
Okay.
Since I was already at the front of the cave anyway.
Barbarian and the paladin step to the front there. Okay.
They'll be tripping on me because obviously the halfling fighter has to be first into the fray.
Oh my god. This is the only group I've ever seen where people
Behind my
are
shield.
fighting to be first.
Headlong into danger is the only way to face it.
Be my guest.
All right. So you guys, it's a large tunnel. The wagon fit into it. So you're looking at the tunnel itself is probably 20 feet by 20 feet.
are you suggesting that we could move the same, like, so that we have two people in front? Because I feel like that's not going to happen.
I'm suggesting you can walk however you want. I'm just letting you know the dimensions of the tunnel.
Don't you know my family motto is face first and ouch?
Yeah, that's a great motto.
All right. So
Exactly why I will not be going.
the three warriors decide to walk shoulder to shoulder. Well, shoulder to waist.
I step back. They can go first if they want.
Okay.
Elbow to shoulder. He's a blocking arm rest.
As Elazar sees that her sword is longer than him. All right, so the paladin and the fighter take the point, with the large barbarian behind, and then our sorcerer, and then the druid last.
Follow up in the rear.
Okay. All right, so you guys go into, and are you using, this is, first of all, you can see that there's a cloud of this nasty kind of vaporous dust coming out of this, and also it's dark, so you have, who has dark vision and who
Get in there, I
has
don't
a
care
light
what you
source.
smell.
I will cast light.
Okay, on what?
My quarterstaff.
On me.
Cast light. All right, so with his, you guys see the, well, you tell me, how does this look? You just, without saying it, or what does it look to everyone else?
So, he carries both of his staffs in kind of a bind on his back, but it's a sheath so he can pull them out easily. And he just kind of pulls his staff out,
Casey Jones style.
rubs some phosphorescent moss in his right hand, and then as he slams the staff against the ground, grips it with his right hand, and the staff bursts to light.
Well, that's dramatic.
So,
But effective.
all right, you guys head into the dark tunnel. So the actual entrance to the tunnel is pretty steep. It looks like it, and you can tell by the mud and the encrusted dirt here that the wagon had to be kind of helped over the entrance. But once you get past the entrance, and it goes about 30 feet into the earth, it levels out, and you see that this tunnel is remarkably straight, and well built and quickly built. Give me, anyone who wants, give me an investigation, if you will. No? No?
That would be a 1.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to do it.
I can't find my butt with both of them.
Oh, nope. Druid's not finding anything.
No one's finding anything.
I'm sure I used my investigation. I'll
9.
if it was perception.
Look, buddy, a natural 5.
That is not very perceptive.
We're gonna actually
Apparently, everyone was blinded by the light spell. He just kept, whoa, little light here. Jeez.
roller in the night.
Okay, so, oh, never mind. You guys did not see that secret door with all that treasure in it? No?
Of course not.
And
But we
So
do
you-
see the displacer beast.
you guys, or do you? 'Cause it is a displacer beast.
At least one of them.
You guys walk into this dark tunnel, and you're walking for some time now, and it is completely black other than his light spell, and silent as well.
And you just have this. And actually, the air is stale in here, but it definitely smells better than the battleground above with all the dead bodies. You do see that there are lots of footprints all around, and as well as wagon prints. And it looks like this thing was carved right through the dirt. Except then you also see that there's a large rock in one of the walls. And it doesn't take a good investigation roll to see this. And that's good because you all failed. But one of the rocks, this large rock in the wall, is actually sliced. Like, it looks like something sliced it right through. So the curvature of the rock matches the curvature of the dirt walls. So whatever made this tunnel was... And once it does that, you're able to see that the tunnel almost keeps a perfect circumference as well. So, however, after walking for some time, you see that there are rocks and debris and dirt, and it looks like in some part of this tunnel, it has collapsed. And as you get closer, more of that debris, more piles of dirt, and you can see that something definitely has collapsed it, and up ahead it looks more and more filled with dirt. Continue on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's dwarves down here.
All right, you continue on, and as you're walking in the distance, maybe 60 yards in front of you, you see a very faint glow. Just a very faint shimmer.
Does it look like reflection from the light?
No. It looks like something's actually casting some sort of light from there.
There's something up ahead.
I release my staff and my light goes out.
Okay. The light goes out. How are you guys seeing now? Anybody have dark vision?
If we can see the light, shouldn't there be some dimness?
It's not creating. It's very dim, so it's not. You're looking at less than a candle.
Well, the cave is straightforward. Just keep walking.
Okay.
Right into the hole.
So out of context, and since the whole mute thing is probably not working well with this,
It will as long as you describe what you're doing.
I'm going to develop a limited vocabulary. I can cast Vision of the Owl on you. You will see in the dark. If someone wants to go forward.
Okay.
Wait, can't you already see in the dark?
I don't
You're
think so.
Yeah.
I mean, is it in the book? I didn't see it. If
Yeah.
it
Dark
is,
vision?
Yeah, you. Got
I
dark
will.
well, then I guess I'm going.
Well, or I could do it, and if I see something, turn my light back on. Is a signal of holy shit, I need you here now.
I'm going to draw my sword and my hand crossbow,
vision. Okay.
and I will put my sword on tip on the ground and kind of use it as a way to feel forward
Okay.
as we go forward.
All right. So, is that what you're doing, casting spell, or are you just walking up there?
Cast
Well, I guess if I have dark vision, which I was unaware of, I'm just gonna keep walking.
All right. By the way, your dark vision needs darkness to work. So if it's light on, it doesn't really work. You can't see in both spectrums at once.
But he did say
Well,
draw.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
So, since you didn't know you had dark vision.
Yeah. Well, look,
Okay.
I had to make this character in haste.
mutter in a language that sounds like running water and wind through the trees. I put the Vision of the Owl on, which is dark vision.
I'll seeing that he's kind of walking forward. I'll draw my claymore and follow behind him.
So very strange to you. The first time ever, you're looking. His light goes out,
Weird.
and you're in a place by in darkness,
Definitely don't
and then
like being in this
suddenly
cave.
you're able
In the
to
dark, I put
basically.
your shoulder.
You're not able to see all of the details of everything, but you can see all of their bodies now
Exactly.
in kind of a whitish red spectrum.
Definitely helps.
Definitely strange though. Not like the normal. It's gonna take some
Being in
getting
the
used to.
complete dark when he put his light out, kind of a little panicky, and that's not a good thing for.
Oh, hey, that's good. We should keep that.
That's worth the inspiration.
Yeah. Visa. Never enter a D&D campaign without it. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I meant Visa.
It's everywhere I want to be.
Yeah. Visa. Okay. So you guys, the dwarf moves forward. Anybody else going with him?
Of course.
Yeah. All right.
Can't let these guys have all the fun.
The three swingers head forward, and first of all, you see that there's just a lot of debris and rock and dirt that has just collapsed here. But when you look up, it looks like whatever collapsed, it wasn't like all the way to the surface. It was just a large part.
Prepare to light, my friend.
But when you get closer to this area that has a light, and you see that what was casting that light looks to be a glowing tip of a crystal of some sort. Sticking out of the dirt, but it looks mostly buried.
So they're at the point
magical.
now, they're close enough. I can see the light kind of get obstructed by their bodies, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, knowing that they're getting close and there hasn't been any sign of trouble, I'm going to turn my light back on.
Okay.
I'm gonna
And we're
tap
going to
it
start walking
with
forward.
the tip of my claymore.
All right. You
Poke at it.
draw your weapon and clink. You hear a clink, clink, almost like sounding like you're hitting glass.
Alright.
So Dirk's gonna reach down. Can I pull it out of the ground?
You try to.
Does it come out?
Yeah, you actually do. You reach and you grab a hold of. First of all, you just saw the tip, but when you move the dirt out of the way and pull it out, you see that this large crystal, probably more than a foot long, and maybe 10 or 12 inches in diameter, a large crystal with these beautifully perfect facets. This crystal is like a purplish kind of hue to it, but it's mostly transparent. And inside this crystal, you see what looks to be like a wispy green smoke flowing inside of it.
That's certainly interesting. Well, I mean, Dirk still seems. I mean, he's obviously struck by this thing. This is quite a strange artifact, however, and he's pretty sure it's magical. I mean, it certainly seems
glowing.
like it. It's glowing. I mean, it's a crystal. It's glowing. But he seems determined to reach the dwarves. Like no distraction should deter him. So he's going to quickly try and fasten it with some of his ropes, like his belt, so he can then just reclaim his shield and hammer and just keep marching on.
Definitely won't fit in your belt. You probably have to put it in your backpack. This is large and
I was
weighs.
gonna try and
Now-
tie it.
Weighs close to probably 15
I
pounds.
mean, I can put it in the backpack, but I was gonna tie it.
Just dangle it from your.
I'm
I
gonna
guess.
Now we
reach out to offer to hold it.
Oh, okay. I'm just
And
gonna
take
pass
it,
it,
and I'm
All right.
and then
when they
continue to
reach,
march.
Yeah,
we should now be nearing them, correct?
Oh, yeah, you guys, you come up on them.
gonna keep an eye on him, but I'm gonna turn to the spellcaster and be like, magic.
Before I do that, as I walk up, I'm going to walk by him and take my quarterstaff and smack him at the back of the leg with it. And be like, what the hell are you thinking? The cave is collapsing and you pull out a shiny crystal? What is that thing? Show it to me.
He looks back at you
It's glowing.
and just kind of and keeps moving.
So,
You must have lost your ever-loving mind. Be very, very quiet. We're hunting ghouls.
You notice
So Dirk-
quiet is not an option with Dirk's armor claiming as it does.
So Dirk continues walking. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to say, don't move. Everyone shut up. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to cast Detect Magic on the crystal.
All right, so it takes you a few moments to cast that, and you walk maybe 6 more yards, and you come to a wall of dirt. It looks like the whole tunnel has collapsed.
I said, don't move. What do I know of this crystal?
You know that it's magic. It's definitely radiating magic.
I could have told you that.
I suppose Identify Magic is a different spell, isn't
It is indeed. However, being a caster, you also know that if you do not have the identify, you are able, in certain circumstances, to spend an amount of time with a magic item to attune to it, if you will. And if so, you are able to determine the properties of it even without the spell. The spell just expedites that. However, the attunement only works on certain items that can be attuned, and that only if you're able to attune to it. So, now I will say, out of why would I say out of character? I'm always out of character. I will say that in the book, attunement says pretty much any magic item you can do that too, which we are not going to do in this. I don't like that rule. I believe that there's a reason why there's identify magic, but at the same time, I want you to be able to identify things even without that. However, it's going to vary upon the item and how powerful the item is, and if it's specific to casters and all that kind of stuff.
So,
Nope.
I can't learn identify.
Okay, but you can still attune.
That's pretty dumb.
Yeah. The magic user not being able to learn identify, whatever. I will attempt to attune with the crystal then.
And that takes an hour.
That's fine.
Okay, so you're gonna sit here for an hour in this cave?
We should probably
wizard
leave
are you?
first.
Huh?
What kind of wizard are you?
I'm a sorcerer.
That's your problem.
Ouch.
Wizards rule. Sorcerers drool.
Says the halfling fighter.
Aren't you neither?
Shots fired.
What are you guys doing?
I'm examining that dirt wall.
It's just a giant pile of collapsed dirt.
Well,
Can I see him standing
he's
at
Oh,
the
yeah.
wall?
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to
So-
me that you would be able to pull a cart of living dwarves into a cave if this was just a dirt wall dead end.
Maybe they collapsed it behind them, genius.
You say that, and you see he doesn't turn to you, but he stops moving for a bit. His hammer shakes in his hand a bit. He doesn't say anything, but he continues doing what he's doing in spite of what you say.
He is a glowing beacon of intelligence. We should leave.
I'm gonna see if I can tell if the wall is freshly fallen.
Okay. What skill are you using for this?
Perception.
Okay.
That's a 19.
This would be more of an investigation.
19. Investigation?
Yep.
So 19.
So that's a good question. What's the difference between perception and investigation? So perception is the noticing of things, usually either things hidden or things out of place, right? Or things that are happening around you in the moment. So you would perceive if like air was coming through a slit that maybe is showing that there's a hidden wall or hidden door rather, or you would perceive if someone is hiding in the bushes. Investigation is taking the time and putting the clues together to go, okay, like at the entrance of this, well, there's wagon tracks. You can see there's lots of footprints everywhere, both in and out of that. You can see that the wagon's fit in it. It matches the wagon tracks to the wagon that you just saw. So through your investigation.
So perception is seeing the tracks. Intelligence is saying, hey, the tracks go into this cave and they probably belong to that wagon.
Yes, but that's the easy way, but with investigation, you can also like put two and two together. So depending on your role, and I should tell the people at home that we have a couple of mechanics here that I do. One is in combat. I always expect my players to have lots of role playing, but especially if I say the words describe the kill, that is like their time to really go off and make it cinematic, if you will. So in the same aspect, if you get a skill roll and it is 10 or more over the DC, then I might tell you guys to describe the success in a very spectacular manner. So depending on your investigation, if you get a really high roll, I might give you extra clues that you might not have seen. You would have like put them two to do together. So
I'm poking around the dirt fall.
Right.
Looking to see if it's fresh.
And
I'm also looking to see if the tracks continue underneath the dirt fall.
Okay. So
And I rolled a 19.
you rolled a 19.
Yes.
So I will go ahead and say, you can definitely see that it hasn't collapsed that long ago.
Okay.
But B, describe the success. Because you put this collapsed and rather recently, maybe within the last hour, and the tracks definitely came through here, and it's all part of the same kind of area. But it doesn't look like this was unnatural. You don't see any indication that this was caused by spell or fire or explosion or weapons or digging or anything like that. It looks like something else caused this cave-in.
So in the dim light.
One more thing.
Yeah.
With your high roll, you also notice that there seems to be a bit of a crater. So it might have been that this crystal itself somehow fell through here and created this collapse.
So there's a hole? Is there light coming down through the hole?
There's
at all?
not. No, it looks like whatever came through is filled back up.
So I'm poking around. You see me poking around with my sword, and I've holstered my crossbow, and I get down close to the ground. And I stare. I run my hand through the tracks that I can see going up to the wall. I kind of move some of the dirt away from it. And look at the depression. Do you all see this? Look. The crystal is here, and there's a small depression where the crystal ends, and the tracks go straight through the wall of dirt, which, and as I lift some of the dirt up and crumble it through my fingers, very, very fresh, not packed, not compacted, not dusty. It's straight from the cavern, the top of the cavern, and you can look up there at the top of the cavern, and you can see where the dirt fell. Maybe an hour ago. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But we definitely know the tracks go through here, and we definitely know that the crystal is at the center of a depression, and we definitely know that the wall of dirt in front of us happened not too long ago.
Then we wait for them to come back out.
No, then we go outside so I can figure out what this crystal is, and then we come back.
You can go do that, stump.
Oof, shots fired.
I am going to wait. There is no reason for them to take living dwarves into a cave without...
Or start working
Great.
with dirt. While
So,
he identifies
do you
the
see what this
magic.
cave is made out of? Or how it is made? And do you see them, how they supposedly came out of the cave? Well, they're not just going to stop coming out of the cave. And they obviously have a way to make a cave. If there's a wall in front of them, they can just fix it. And we can wait for them to fix it and then beat them up once they emerge. And then we follow and we find the dwarves and we save them. We pull them out, mission accomplished. Done.
I'm all about stabbing them in the face. However, the crystal might be the key to clearing this stoppage easily.
Yes, while you wait for some natural dirt to naturally disappear into thin
Not
air.
natural. Do you see this cave? This is not natural.
But this crystal has something to do with it.
Well,
Then you go figure that out.
fire off some magic in it, see if you can get it to work.
And risk blowing us all up? Yeah, great idea.
I smack it with the flat of my blade.
The crystal?
Yes.
Smack it. Clink here. A clink like
Seems pretty
glass.
safe to me.
What the hell are you doing?
Just cast something at it, see what it does.
Make it a pose check. You make a dexterity, you a strength.
Okay.
Or dexterity, you should use
Dexterity,
a finesse
yeah.
weapon. A finesse weapon.
Yes.
A finesse weapon? Is that like a Vanessa weapon?
1.
Oof.
2.
8.
Oh yeah, you smack it right out of his hands, and it goes, it flies out of his hands, he drops it and clangs. But you don't see any damage to it or anything like that.
Seems pretty.
Are you satisfied, Mr. Chargin and Ouch? That could have killed us all.
My friends, we must take haste. Make haste. This place is closing in on me.
Oh, great. We have a nervous claustrophobic. You come out with me.
Shall we start digging?
I guess.
I'm gonna sigh, put out my light, and, well, not put out my light. That's a stupid idea. I'm gonna walk towards the opening of the cave.
How far was the opening of the cave, by the way?
You guys have traveled at least 150 yards.
150 yards.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm starting to freak out.
Yeah. You guys are pretty deep into this thing.
We're digging.
And at least 30 feet down.
I'm gonna take my shield and use it like a little.
Real quick, before digging,
shovel.
does anybody have, what are your professions before this? Do you have a profession? Anybody have artisan or anything like that?
I'm a sage.
Okay, sage. We got dwarf.
As far as professions go, he's pretty much just a paladin.
What's your
He's,
background?
folk hero. He spends the entire time just.
Do dwarves automatically get any kind of stone cutting or anything like that? Give me a quick little look. You're a mountain dwarf?
Yes.
Okay, mountain dwarf.
Dwarf traits, dark vision, dwarf resilience, combat training, stone cunning.
Okay.
Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill and double your proficiency bonus to the check instead of your normal proficiency.
Give me an intelligence check.
Oh boy, this is gonna be only slightly above average. This is gonna be 14.
Okay, so you take your shield and start getting a swath of it in, and once you do, more dirt starts falling from the ceiling, and you can see with your dwarven intelligence, before any digging could take place here, you would have to brace this, or else the rest of the ceiling's going to come down.
Yet again, I was correct.
So you don't know that. That's it.
Oh, well.
We're moving out the door.
Yes, we are.
It appears digging may not be wise. Not
I'll
yet,
follow them
anyway.
because I too am getting a little.
Claustrophobic?
Yes,
Okay.
this is very. Do not like.
Okay, start heading back, and what do you guys?
So what now?
I mean, unless you have a way to brace the cave, we wait for them to re-emerge, which they will inevitably do. As it appears, as you saw from up there, there were hundreds of them. Their bodies covered the floor. You can't have hundreds of them without them constantly coming out of the cave.
Then we shall prepare a fighting position.
Dirt, you also know that because of that, the integrity of this tunnel is, at least in this area, is compromised. So.
Then we shall prepare a fighting position and make sure that we can defeat whatever comes through this tunnel.
Let's step back a bit to see what they do when they re-emerge. But yes, that seems smart.
Okay. So you guys start heading out, you three.
I'm basically, I've got my hand on his shoulder, but I'm pushing him fast.
Okay. So you guys are walking, you guys are backing up how far from this?
I don't know, probably like 40 feet, and then preparing my shield. I'm just kind of waiting.
All right. So they back up, get some defensive positions set up, which is, there's not really anything in this cave. It's bare, so you're just you and your shields, you know.
Yeah.
But you guys start heading out. Takes you the same amount of time that to get back out. You get up there and you see the kind of light of day. It's still super hazy and dark outside, but you manage to exit the tunnel, take a deep breath of that rancid air, death and decay and burnt destruction.
With the sun on my face.
So,
well, at least the warmth from the sun, the haze blocks out the actual sun.
I'll take what I can get.
I'd like to set up a trap.
Okay. What trap are you going to set?
Poison trap.
Poison trap. Do you have traps?
For use.
Okay.
Use.
So you start setting a trap. Do you have to make a roll for setting a trap?
So I'll give him a
I
pen.
hadn't read that for him.
Okay. There's a trap. Look in the player's manual, or player's handbook rather. In the equipment section, there's I think there's a satchel or a bag of traps or something.
I do have
trap thing. You have to look that up.
I did buy the trap.
Right. Trap kit. Look that up and let me know what it takes. What are you done?
Chris Kane.
I hand him, by the way, that pouch of components.
Oh, him? Okay. So he gives you a pouch of magical components. Write it down.
Pouch of magical components?
Yeah. So basically, you're looking at components for probably 10 spells worth.
Okay, sweet. Would you stay with him, make sure he doesn't freak out? I'm gonna head up to the clearing, away from people, and just figure out what's going on.
And nod and just be safe and stay with
Okay,
So before
Keep an
you
eye
turn
on
to
him.
leave, you hear something in the distance, and you all hear this at the same time. You hear, and you hear what sounds like the banging of metal, and you hear this chant or this shout in unison, which sounds like hundreds And what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Draconic, Elven, and Dwarven.
Dwarven and Common. So it's in a language that none of you understand.
Kind of brandish my claymore and goes, that doesn't sound good.
Go get them and meet me up in the clearing.
You two, you're setting your traps, and you hear a and then a big cloud of dust comes billowing your way
From behind or from in front of us?
from where the collapse was. Just more dirt just comes and hits you, and then you hear more of a.
They're coming!
No, you can see that it sounds like more dirt falling
Oh.
and rubble.
So, I sent at least her in to go get help, and while he's sitting down there recovering, I'm going to go up to the clearing.
Well, you're still with them right now, so just I said before you left, you heard that. So
I know. I sent her in after we heard the noise to go and get them.
Okay.
I'm gonna, yeah.
And then after she goes in, I'm
I
going to
think
head up to the
the
clearing.
dark vision is still.
Pouch.
So yeah, I got it right here. So
Our
And you're going back up to the top of that hill?
yeah.
Okay.
it just says I have to use an action to set it up.
Oh, okay. Then you just have to try. Not a problem. Wait. Ephraim, you were going to say something? Were you?
I get up and I start heading towards the general area where I made my new friend. Whistling. And I
Okay.
pull out another morsel of food from the form.
Yeah, he comes back out.
My friend.
But you see that he's like shivering. He's like looking all about.
I kneel down. Calm, my friend, calm. Do you know if there's another entrance to this cave? Do you know anything about it?
No, but Green's coming.
Green. What is green?
Greens.
Greens.
Greens are coming.
Make tusks with my fingers. These kind of greens? Thank you, my friend. Run. Find safety.
He darts.
Right. Head quickly back to them.
Okay. Well, you start heading back to him. You see he's already on his way up the hill.
I'm going to send him I'm going to send him to the clearing to wait for the guys, and then I'm going to proceed up the hill.
Him who?
Him.
Oh, him. Okay.
Clearing. And then
Okay, you start getting to the top of the hill, and it sounds louder and louder.
Do I see him heading up the hill?
Oh yeah.
Orcs.
I know. I'll be back.
You know it's going to take an hour to attune to this.
Can they not see me?
No, they can see you on the hill. You haven't crested it yet.
Okay.
You stopped
After I get over the crest.
Okay, so you get to the crest, and when you do, your heart sinks. As over the crest, you're able to see a mass of torches by the thousands.
Immediately, I duck down and start heading back down the hill.
Okay.
You said it was morning?
No, it's dawn. Or yeah, it's evening. Sorry. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
evening.
Yeah.
Now-
Did I say dawn before?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
At this point, my face is starting to
evening.
look.
So we've been in there for a
Because
while.
you guys originally teleported here in the afternoon, so
Oh,
it's
I
only
see.
a few hours
Okay.
past that. So
So now it's evening. Okay, got it.
At this point, my character's face is starting to look a little withdrawn.
okay. You tell them what they see.
Orcs. Lots of them at the top of the hill. They're close.
I'm gonna,
What
after
are
doing
lots?
that, gonna
More than I can count.
go in and get them. Like,
You're gonna run. So she runs into the tunnel.
I'm a smart
It's gonna
guy.
take a while to get there.
Search for cover in the other direction.
Okay.
Where's the
So
nearest trees?
all right, no trees. They're all burnt to the crisp. Yeah.
Everything.
This place is. There's hills and there's wreckage, but any tree there's a few stumps that were burnt down. There's not even grass. So you want to go up to another hill?
I want to run perpendicular to where they were coming.
Okay. So he went up. Basically,
trying to keep cover behind the hill. Maybe just come up behind so we can see from the side.
All right. So you have basically you're kind of in the valley of these two.
Going around and up.
To describe this, you're in the valley of these two hills, right? You have the hill that you came over, and then you have a new hill, and in the bottom of this hill is where this tunnel is. He went up to the hill that you guys came over,
Okay.
and they're coming
coming
back
this way.
from the way that you guys appeared,
Okay.
basically. So you go up this hill.
So we need to go up the other hill.
All right.
Yeah, I'll
So
head
you
up that hill.
so you run up that hill, and again the sound's getting louder, and you crest that hill, and you see what he saw. You
The
see
other direction, right?
in the
So I'm
other-
on the opposite
right,
side.
in the opposite direction.
Flatten myself so I can.
So you see in the smoky, burnt atmosphere here, you see that more torches. What looks to be at least hundreds of them. And some of these are like large braziers looking, or large like fires, and then you notice they're moving. And then after a few more moments, you see why, because they're basically giant torches carried by hill giants coming your way as well. So it looks like the two flanks are kind of converging.
On us.
Somebody must know we're here.
Do I get to them?
Yeah, so it'll take you a few more moments. But you guys definitely hear her chomping your way. So. So she yells out.
This will have to wait. How many?
A lot.
Are we talking an army or are we talking
5, 10, more, plus.
We have to get out of here.
where?
Coming our way. Over the hills.
Both of them?
So what are you two doing? Because
We're the only ones out, aren't we?
you see that you're only
How
ones out.
dark is it right now?
It's not super dark. I mean, you can see without torch, but they have torches.
But soon it will be dark where we will need light. Easy enough.
And these, from what you saw of the armies, they're large battalions coming at you.
We can't fight.
Or at each other, or at something, but they seem to be.
Well, I'm up at the top of the hill keeping an eye on things.
I'm gonna charge into the cave since he seems to be
Okay.
doing okay by himself.
You charge into the cave, and you guys hear him start coming in as well.
Light bursts on.
What are you doing?
How far am I from the cave?
The cave is just right down the hill from
How far?
maybe 50 feet.
I'm gonna wait up here.
Okay.
I'm down. I'm prone.
So you're prone. Are you hiding?
I'm keeping at the crest of the hill.
You should give me a stealth roll.
Okay.
Little stealthy stealth.
Stealthy still.
Little stealthy stealth.
If you fail, you're screwed.
Oh Jesus.
That was a 2, folks.
With a +1, so it's a 3.
Okay, so you're at the top of this hill, and there are ways. All right, they're a few hundred yards away. So you see that there's a large piece of wreckage from some sort of siege engine, and it looks like a pretty good place for you to hide. So you go to kind of lean in there, kind of scoot your body in, and as you do, to your misfortune, you see that one of those huge beams of the siege engine were just leaning against another, and it just falls forward over the other side of the hill. And you hear, "Whoosah!" and all of a sudden you hear, and there's just silence in that flank of the army. And then you hear, and from the ranks, a group of maybe 50 figures break off and start rushing towards your area.
Oh gosh.
Run, Forrest, run!
Okay. Hold on. I need to see the range of something here real quick.
Packing a nuke?
Sorta.
I believe the druid cast crap his pants.
Okay.
There's like a level 10 fireball. You can just throw at that
I need to
thing
do that.
real quick. Just
So
just
from
do that.
where I'm at, you say 50 orcs running down.
Yep.
How far away are they from me?
A few hundred yards.
A few hundred yards.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. But there's a lot of them.
Dribble. Start pushing backwards.
Yeah, okay. Backpedaling a bit?
Yeah,
Sure.
as best I can. Do I need another roll?
Are you trying to do it stealthily, or are you
I'm
just
trying to
get
do
out?
it stealthily.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got a few hundred yards yet. 10.
It's better than the first time. You know, and you're on the backside of the hill, so it looks like you're pretty well hidden. By the way, you still hear the chanting from the other army behind you, and they're
So there's two armies.
yeah.
What's the sound of the second army?
Sounds the same.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see them at all?
No, they're again. You have to go up to the top of the hill and stuff. And he didn't tell you how far away they were. He just said there was lots of orcs.
Okay, so hold on. I need to get a visual here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the valley.
Mm-hmm.
The orcs that are running at me are over here.
Yep. So let me give you a quick.
I'm up here.
Let me have your
You're
pencils.
saying I hear another army back in the distance
So
this way.
that's enough. So this is one hill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is another hill. Actually, I do need that pencil again. All right. This is your hole, right? The tunnel here, and this is where you guys had the battle, basically in this valley.
Okay.
He saw an army over here, and you saw an army over here.
Okay.
Now these hills are very large. It's like a big valley, which is why it makes sense. There was a kind of a standoff here, right? Because the two sides were holding the hills, and the bottom of this is just dead bodies and destruction.
Okay, so I'm up on the crest of
So
this.
you're up here, sliding back, backing your way back down towards the hole.
Those are the guys.
These are the guys that just broke off and they're coming towards you.
Oh,
You have no
okay.
idea what's going on over here.
I had things totally flipped.
No, they're coming. Well, to be specific, this flank was actually coming out at an angle towards this way. Now I'm not going to tell you how many, because he didn't tell anybody how many, and he didn't spend much time looking at them. So you have no idea if it's just like a small group or this group is like, and nor do you, with the haze and stuff, you have no idea where this ends, but you saw.
I saw quite a few in the haze,
maybe.
and I saw about 50 break free and come towards me.
Yeah.
He knows there are more than I can count. That's what I said.
So you got two sides. Now, whether those sides are, you can't speak their language and you don't know what they're chanting. So whether those sides are together or not, you have no idea.
Okay, so that changes things. As soon as I'm over the edge,
Is it mine?
I'm boogieing down the hill
Okay.
to the cave. Deep breath. Cast Vision of the Owl on myself
All right.
and into the cave.
Head back in the cave. So this time, Nyx gets to you guys. She's already there with you.
Hi.
You have your trap set.
Wrong person.
No, because I said Nyx gets to him. She's already there with you. Two different, because he ran in after you. So you four together. What are you doing here? You hear that there's.
Well, it looks
Well,
like
we're gonna have to
Actually,
hide
you
here.
guys can't hear these orcs. They're too far up above their earth.
it looks like we have our ass against the wall.
A collapsing wall from the looks of it.
Let me know when I get to it.
Yeah, you get to the hole. You slide right down there and get right into the cavern.
Orcs, many, coming this way. Who cannot see in the dark?
Who can see in the dark?
3 should be able to, correct?
Seems a pretty rare
Is that right?
Can
ability.
halflings see in the dark?
Oh,
Or
Oh, not
who
according.
does now?
how long?
So,
it
do you
turns
answer
to
him?
Last?
Nyx, do you answer him?
I can't see in the dark. I can cast light. I can.
What do we do?
Well, we can't outrun them, especially not if they have cavalry. We can't fight them, so we're gonna have to hide.
So there are people coming our direction over that hill and over that hill. What if we go this way down the valley?
We'll get
Perpendicular.
caught.
How?
This is an army.
Charging straight at us. We don't know how far it is either direction. The clearest shot we have is to go perpendicular.
We've gone to plaid.
So, to avoid detection, we need no light. So I cast Vision of the Owl on you.
Okay.
Great, now we can see him coming to stab us in the face.
And who else? You. I can give you my charm also.
Fantastic.
Dark Vision. Vision of the Owl.
All right, so your guys, all your vision switches to the spectrum of dark vision, and you're able to make out the details a little bit clearer now in this dark cavern. Well, that's assuming you turn your light off again.
Yes, my light is off.
How much time do we have?
Haven't you figured out how to use that crystal yet?
I need at least an hour.
Can we have someone seal the cave? Is that a possibility?
Yes, and suffocate us? That's a brilliant idea.
Maybe
We're not going to be here all that long. We just need long enough for them to pass over us.
And how do we dig ourselves out? Or are you just hoping that the magical hole will open up?
We don't know that they know we are in here. They heard me make noise up top.
All we need to do is cover the entrance.
But then, again, how do we get out?
I can push open an entrance, that's not that bad.
Can you push over that pile of dirt? How are we going to do it at the front?
We have no idea how deep this one is. This one's collapsing.
And if we destabilize the rock at the front of the hole, we don't know how far back that's going to collapse. We could suffocate in here.
Or we could
Which
be
would you
stabbed
rather
by
do?
orcs.
Suffocate or get murdered.
They are moving towards each other. There is the option that they will move towards the cave and we will be slaughtered. But the more likely idea is that they are moving towards each other to either meet up for something or to kill each other. Why do we need to seal the hole?
They could have giants. They could have horses. They will outrun us.
So we hide in here and hope they don't
Did I
investigate the
see
hole.
any horses? Or anything larger than an orc, even in the mist?
Oh yeah, you saw hill giants.
Hill giants? Did I see any hill giants break free? You said 50 orcs.
I said 50 figures. I
50
didn't say
figures. 50 human-sized figures or 50 giant-sized?
Humanoids, yeah.
Any giant size? So, I only saw 50 figures break free. Nothing giant size.
Only a full platoon.
We cannot stay in here. This is a grave.
Then what do we do?
Run! We run!
I love how you guys keep looking at the den advisor. You have to get yourselves out of this.
I tend to agree with the druid.
I'm running.
Because the
Up and
scouts
up.
in these
I'll
armies
follow.
aren't tuned to running figures.
All right, so they start breaking off. What are you guys doing?
Seal the cave. Let yourself suffocate. We're getting out.
So how many people are staying in the cave and how many people can leave?
You tell me.
I'm heading out.
Those
I'm
two
in a panic.
are moving
And the rest of us three are in here.
for now.
How big was the entrance of the cave?
20 feet by 20 feet. It's a
You know
perfect
what?
circle.
I stop in my tracks.
We've already set traps. We can just move behind them. Set up a defense here. If we're
What
going
are
to
you
die
doing? Why are
anyway,
you
we'll die
stopping?
in glory.
Can we use this crystal somehow?
That was my question.
Do you know what it does?
I have no idea, but I mean, no,
We don't have
there's
time
no
to figure
better
it out.
time to figure out.
Running around.
I gotta keep running.
Okay, so the druid continues his journey.
I hold the crystal in my hand, not sure what to do. Screw it, I keep running. I keep the crystal.
Okay.
I'm not going to try and run. That's suicide.
We have a better chance defending here.
Then out there in the open.
Now, ideally, we can pile something together up at the front to keep them from seeing the hole.
Or if we still had our mages, they could have cast some sort of illusion. Mages. Oh, wait, they weren't really mages, they were sorcerers. It's like mages, but not as cool.
Well, it appears our scout has run off. If he was still here, that would be helpful. I get an idea of how much time we have to build a wall.
But I get the scouts hang up. I mean, he doesn't want to get buried. Claustrophobic and all that good sense. Makes perfect sense.
Well, I'm going to try and build as much of a wall in the front so they miss us as I can. And then I'm going to head back here. We can form a defense, hope they don't find us.
All right,
gonna
so you're
set
going
all
to start heading towards the front?
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow to help.
Okay.
Let's not do the front. Let's build our wall here. That way we can set traps and we'll just build it behind the trap I already set. We'll set a few more traps.
No, yeah, it's 150 yards. So.
I was hoping that because the front of the cave is next to collapsed siege engines, dead bodies, dirt, stone.
So
That'd be easier to build it. However, if you have something that can build it here, that would work as well.
What I'm saying is, we build it here, so if anything does come to investigate the kill, we can dispatch it with ease, because they won't send their whole force down into the hole. And they probably won't miss a few scouts. But if you go to the entrance, you have much more chance to get discovered.
True. But what do we have to build a defense back here?
Dirt, rocks, and I have 3 more traps.
all right, so these two, you guys get to about maybe 40 yards from the entrance, and you hear clanging around, and you hear voices in an unknown language.
At the entrance?
Around there, yes. And you hear one in particular going, that's my orcish.
Okay, so he's turning and charging back, and
I studied in college. Yeah, little orcish. Anyways, so he turned back around.
I'm doing the same.
All right, you guys are getting tired of this doing laps.
Wait, the crystal constitution check. This whole time forgetting that the crystal in my hands is glowing.
It is glowing. All right, so
sorcerers have no
shuffling
sense.
dirt to kind of make a little half wall.
Okay.
I'm gonna take off my cape of my robe and wrap it around the crystal.
Not too long after they all head off, and you wrap it up, you hear the huffing of very tired people as they
It's
come.
almost as if I told you, you can't outrun them.
They're at the entrance. We are out of time.
As I suspected. And you see her building a wall and him readying his traps. We're gonna build a defense here.
Figure out what
I'm
that
gonna start
does.
helping with the wall as much as I can.
And another
Can
tip,
I do anything?
put a cloak or something over it, because
I
it's
already
glowing.
did.
Can you do anything?
Can I do anything with Arcana to help figure out the basic functionality of this crystal?
You tell me, can you?
Of course not, he's a sorcerer.
At the narrow of the tunnel.
Well,
I might be
as
able
I
to
told you,
slow
you
some.
can attune to it. It's going to take you a while.
Slow would be good. Because anything that comes down here, we want to make sure we dispatch it quick.
But other than that, it's not going to... That's the only way you're going to get information for it. Now, are you saying can you do something to it? That's up to you. I don't know. They've already smacked it with a sword, and you've dropped it, so that didn't do anything.
So I'm gonna plant it in the dirt back where it was. And 1 second, I need to check something.
Look on the wall.
Build the walls. Just start from the corners. Work your
Too
way
heavy to
out.
build the wall. He's checking his traps.
I would really like to have wood and dead bodies to build this wall, but no, just gonna work with dirt.
You have to go with the dirt, yep.
We'll make it look like collapsed dirt. They won't come back.
What are you doing, Jordan?
Panicking because of claustrophobia.
Okay, I am.
The Druid's like, screw all you guys. I'm turning into a squirrel. I'm gonna sit here.
I wish I could. But at this point, I am scoping out the narrow. Okay, so this place we're at, is it an open area or is it just
It's just a tube. It's just a straight tube.
Okay, how wide is it?
20.
20 feet. Oh,
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm preparing the entangle spell.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to cast that. Let's see.
Oh, right inside.
Preparing it, or you already had it prepared?
I'm going to prepare it.
You have to rest to prepare new spells.
Oh, well, no, I have it memorized.
Okay, that's what
I'm
it is.
just
All
getting it ready.
Gotcha. Okay.
So after the crystal is back where it was, my right hand is going to start to arc electricity over its fingers, and the glove is going to start to glow with a purple static energy. And I'm just going to take my hand and set it on top of the crystal, and the electricity drains from my hand into the crystal, and the crystal begins to glow with that purple.
Okay. Mechanically, what are you using?
Mechanically, that is
Shocking Grasp.
Shocking Grasp.
Okay. So you cast your spell and release the arcane energy into this crystal, and you guys all hear the sound of shattering glass fill the cavern. And you look towards him and see that there's a brighter glow, and the smoke that was within the crystal that is now released starts to swirl about and growing in size and dimension until you are all in
just encompassed by this weird green thick smoke that clogs your nose and your lungs and blinds you of your eyesight until all you see is green, and it feels like a thick film, but it's not like dirt. You can literally physically feel the magic of this smoke on your flesh.
And we end today with a TPK.
That's a great cliffhanger. Pause here. Everyone be quiet for a second. And now the next session.
Let's take a break, though.
Let's take a break. That's a good stopping point for this session, and we'll do a whole last time on D&D as we start the next session. Sound good?
Oh, good.
Another break. So everyone get a snack.
How long
Use the
was that
restroom.
segment?
I don't know. I wasn't timing it.
We'll,